So, California Governor Gavin Newsom has responded to Donald Trump and his ridiculous manufactured crisis that he created out in Los Angeles. Folks, that's what it is, and that's what I'm going to call it as. This was one of the most unnecessary news stories we've ever covered because it did not have to happen. There was no reason for this to happen. This is Donald Trump simply fanning the flames, creating as much controversy, as much chaos as he possibly can. He's flooding the zone in an attempt to beat everyone into submission to where no one will have the guts to stand up to him again. We can't allow that to happen. We have to continue to speak out and call this stuff out. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's anything other than a manufactured crisis that Donald Trump created himself, because he does not care about the American people. He doesn't care about people coming to this country to make a better way for themselves. He has completely lost the plot as to what the United States of America is supposed to be about. And we're going to continue to always call that out. You know, the last time that the National Guard was deployed was when Lyndon Johnson, back in 1965, sent the Guard to Alabama, and he sent them there to protect civil rights protesters. In 2025, Donald Trump sent the Guard to California to go after civil rights protesters. So it tells you the drastic difference in the two. And it's just a true shame that we're in this boat and that Gavin Newsom is having to stand here once again and defend his state from the madness that is Donald Trump. So we're going to play a couple of clips from Newsom. And in this first one, he's asked, when did you find out that the Guard was coming? Take a look.
Today.
This is your authority normally to deploy the National Guard here. Right. You did it. We were together after the fires, and those National Guard troops have been out all across Los Angeles working to rebuild and recover this city. How did you find out that the President of the United States was going to usurp your authority and deploy your National Guard here in California?
I got a call from a staffer. No heads up whatsoever. And again, we're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process. Local law enforcement had no needs. They were not requesting any additional resources. I've got 100 now. I have 175 CHP officers, technically trained officers, tactical teams to address Donald Trump's mess. We're here to support local law enforcement, the sheriff's office, LAPD, but they didn't need that support. He made this up. This is a manufactured crisis in order to get under the tent to start to stretch credulity and to begin the process of moving inevitably towards a constitutional questioning crisis around posse comitatus. And it's, I think, inevitable. That's where he's going.
Tom Homan.
So yeah, California was not asking for any help, but Trump went over Newsom's head, and he did this to manufacture a crisis and to create controversy. And if you think that's crazy, this whole story's crazy, it gets crazier because Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is now threatening to arrest Gavin Newsom. And I never would have thought we would be here at this point in American history where you would have a sitting president that was talking about arresting a sitting governor. It's absolutely insane. But take a look at what Newsom had to say about it. It's great.
Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you.
Yep.
Nor Mayor Bass if you interfere in his words. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Let your hands off these poor people who are just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
You know, folks, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I'm of the opinion that Donald Trump is absolutely terrified of Gavin Newsom, and that is why that he's always picking on California. I think MAGA in general is terrified of Gavin Newsom, and that's why they're going after him so hard. They realize he's probably going to be one of the main front runners in 2028. There's a good chance he could be the nominee for president, and I believe they're trying right now to go ahead and demonize and vilify him as much as they possibly can because, you know, they're not going to create this kind of controversy controversy and kind of crisis down in Texas. They're not going to pick on Greg Abbott. You're not going to see Trump go over a red state governor's head. And you won't see him go over any other blue state except California. That's the one he's always going to be picking on, because they have to create this narrative about how bad Gavin Newsom is, because they see that he's gearing up for a potential 2028 run, and they're trying to go ahead and put that fire out, no pun intended. They're going ahead and trying to cool that down right now. But I really do believe it's going to backfire miserably. I really believe that what we're going to end up seeing is Gavin Newsom just become more and more popular. And if they were to arrest him, it would almost guarantee that he would be our nominee in 2028, because from that point, he would just be, everyone would see through it, and everyone would see through what the bullshit was. And I pretty much believe it would launch him to the front. So, I don't want to see him arrested. I think it's bullshit that it's even mentioned. I think it's bullshit that we're even here in this conversation with the insurrectionists accusing other people of an insurrection. It's absolutely disgusting. But I want to play this next clip because Gavin Newsom is not sitting here calling the violent protesters patriots and hostages. He doesn't say that. He condemns it like any normal person would do. Take a look.
And not in the city proper. But look, you made a point a moment ago. These images are unacceptable. These kids on the car, the folks that are taking advantage of this, these aren't peaceful protesters, a lot of these folks, a lot of great people out there doing the right thing. But you get these insurgent groups coming in, sort of these anarchists that are in there to create real problems. And they're just playing right into Donald Trump's hand. And they need to be called out. They need to be arrested. It is wrong to destroy other people's property, and it is wrong to create the conditions that only exacerbate this. But Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
Have you ever stepped outside and felt like you were instantly drenched in sweat? Folks, I live here in Tennessee, and trust me, I know all about the heat and humidity. I cannot count the times that I've stepped outside at 7 o'clock in the morning to do my work, and by 7:15, I'm standing there drenched. Recently, I switched to Mando, and now I no longer have those problems. But if you've been struggling with the heat and humidity like I have, then I have some great news. Mando has just launched something that takes sweat control to the next level. Introducing Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control Solid Stick. It's double protection. Finally, you get the odor control you love with Mando, plus powerful sweat control. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code Brando at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. Again, use code Brando at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Go to shopmando.com and tell them Brando sent you. He's absolutely right. This absolutely lays right at Donald Trump's feet. He is the one responsible for all of this, and we need to keep reminding folks of that every day. But notice what Newsom did there. He didn't come out and call them patriots. He didn't call them hostages. There's not going to be pardons sent out to people who breaks the law. That's not who we are. It's who MAGA is, and it's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen to hear Trump say things, and I'm not going to play the clip because I can't stand hearing the man's voice, but the whole clip about him saying, when they spit, we hit. Okay, so when it's protest in California, you say that, but then you tell your own supporters to go to the Capitol and fight like hell, because if they don't fight like hell, they're not going to have a country. And when they beat police officers over the head and police officers lose their lives, he just says, oh, well, people were upset. People were really mad. These people have been treated very unfairly. Well, you know what? There's a whole lot of people right now being treated very unfairly, sent out of this country with no due process, sent to prisons in foreign countries with no trial or anything, and that is some absolute bullshit. So we're going to continue to call this stuff out. But in this last clip we're going to play from Governor Newsom, he's asked, what would you say to Donald Trump? And I love his response.
I have a feeling there's a pretty good chance that in the White House there might be a television on and he might be watching us
I hope so.
right now.
Yeah, he can learn something.
What might you say to him if I'll give you the floor, you have the opportunity, what you weren't able to say to him on that phone call or calls that he hasn't taken today?
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it, I'll say it again, it's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. and I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
Governor Gavin Newsom.
Well, Donald Trump has no decency, so I really don't think that he will back down or stop or try to put the fire out that he started. I think he will continue to do what he always does, which is just double down on his bullshit and continue to try to divide and conquer this country. And it's just truly sad that we have a president who has no respect for the American people and is willing to put them through this and is willing to divide. You know, I'm not a big fan of George W. Bush. I still think he's one of the worst presidents of my lifetime. He's number 2 behind Trump. But I really do believe that, you know, when 9/11 happened, love W or hate him, when 9/11 happened, right after that, he came out and did try to unify this country and bring them together. At least you could say that much about him. So many presidents in my lifetime, when a crisis happened, they tried to bring the American people together. Donald Trump doesn't. He just pits people against one another. He continues to create controversy and continues to try to flood that zone. And I really do believe at the end of the day, I'm of the opinion that he's doing this so that he can declare martial law and put a stop to No King's Day, because he wants to have his big dictator parade. And that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call this in California a manufactured crisis by Donald Trump, because that's what it is. And we're going to call his birthday military parade a dictator parade, because that's what it is. He wants to go out there and flex as though he's Vladimir Putin and do something in America that's never been done before and just humiliate us all on the world stage. So we're going to continue to call this stuff out. We're not going to back down. We're going to understand that he is absolutely here to flood the zone and to distract. But I'm going to be making another video later on talking about the idea that, you know, a lot of people will say things like, well, he's just trying to distract us. They're trying to distract from this and from that. But I think Brett Meiselas said it best in a tweet that he posted. He said, you know, maybe it's not that he's trying to distract. Maybe it's just that he does a whole bunch of shitty things at one time. And I am of the belief that that's exactly what he's doing. You know, of course, there's distractions out there. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get distracted when someone is throwing that much stuff at you at one time. That's why we have to stay focused on the issues. We have to continue to talk about the issues the American people are facing, and we have to continue to call out the bullshit as it happens. What's going on in California is not an insurrection, okay? It is a Donald Trump manufactured crisis that could have all been avoided if he'd have simply stayed out of it and minded his own damn business. But he couldn't do that because he saw an opportunity to play politics. And yeah, he saw an opportunity to distract, but he also just does shitty things constantly, and we're going to be here constantly calling that out.